are transmitting live from San Diego, California, from the studios of KPBS on the campus of San Diego State University. Greetings to our participants in Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, and other countries in Latin America. We would also like to welcome our distinguished friends at the Organization of American States in Washington, D.C. We would like to thank once again Telecomunicaciones de Mexico and PanamSat for their satellite linkage services, which allow us to reach all of you through the wonders of telecommunications. Welcome to the program Leadership and Empowerment, Strategies for a World-Class Enterprise, the fourth video conference in our 1995 series entitled Management Systems for the 21st Century. I am Armando Osorio, and I will be your moderator for this video conference. We would like to remind the coordinators at each receive site to collect the attendance sheets for your site and to return them to the International Training Center as soon as possible. At this time, you should also return to us a list of names of participants interested in obtaining the certificate. This program is composed of 2 presentation modules and 2 question and answer sessions. We look forward to your live participation. In today's dynamic and competitive world, it is impossible to imagine a successful organization that does not display effective leadership and empowerment techniques at all organizational levels. In recent years, we have seen a number of well-known corporations fall prey to competition and international market dynamics. The internal crises these organizations have suffered demonstrate a lack of leadership and ineffective distribution of power at the operative level. This video conference will present leadership strategies and empowerment concepts that translate into higher levels of performance and productivity. It is my pleasure to present to you today's guest and expert speaker, Mr. Thomas Hinton. Mr. Hinton is president of the Customer Relations Institute, which is located in San Diego, California, and dedicated to training and consulting at the international level. His clients include the new Otani Hotels of Japan, Isuzu Truck of America, and Union Bank. Mr. Hinton is author of the well-known books The Spirit of Service and Customer-Focused Quality, What to Do on Monday Morning. His new book, Heart and Soul, A Strategy for Business Renaissance, will be published in December of this year. Mr. Hinton is president of the California Council for Quality and Service, which is responsible for coordinating the California Quality Awards program. Welcome, Mr. Hinton.
It's good to be back, Armando. Thank
Me alegra estar con ustedes aquí. Let us begin Module 1, where Mr. Hinton will explain the concept of leadership.
Let me begin by thanking the International Training Center and its staff for the privilege of returning here to San Diego State University to share my thoughts and views on leadership and empowerment with you. I would also like to thank our distinguished guests and neighbors from Mexico, Latin America, and the United States. Last year, I had the pleasure of presenting a program entitled The Human Side of Quality, which was based on my second book, Customer-Focused Quality, What to Do on Monday Morning. I hope you find this video conference equally informative. In this session, I would like to accomplish 3 objectives. First, I will offer you my definition of leadership as it relates to creating a world-class enterprise. Secondly, I will share with you 5 characteristics of an effective leader which I have developed and refined over the past 5 years. And thirdly, I will include several examples to reinforce my points and help you create a strategy for world-class enterprise. When I use the word leadership, I hope you will not think in terms of a job title, but rather the role leaders play in their organizations. I suggest this subtle difference because it is very important to understand that leadership is not a job. Rather, it has more to do with someone's ability to perform a job. An effective leader must be capable of performing regardless of his or her job title. A leader must wear many hats and be proficient in many roles if he or she is to succeed. Now, this applies to a small family-owned business as well as to a multinational corporation. What role does a leader play, and who are the leaders? First, I believe everybody possesses the ability to be a leader. Leaders are not born, they are made. They evolve over time. Every job and assignment we accept is a proving ground for leadership. This is why leadership is a natural, evolutionary process. From our experiences as small children on a playground to our participation in high school and university clubs, we learn the art of leadership. It is part of our life experience. Leadership is not a matter of one's gender or age or race, creed, color, or how much hair you have or don't have on your head. I have been fortunate to work with many different companies and industries from Japan to Germany, and I think leadership has as much to do with one's willingness to accept a challenge as it does with their formal education or years of experience in business or government. The primary role of a business leader is this: to eliminate the roadblocks that inhibit your employees from solving problems. A leader must champion a cause, namely whatever mission he undertakes that will advance his organization and his people. What distinguishes the manager from the leader? A manager focuses on controls, administration, and relies on systems, processes, and structure. Of course, all of these things are important to achieving results, but a leader creates a vision and challenges his people to change their environment and improve results. Remember that every manager can be a leader, but not every leader is a manager. As Jose Rodriguez, a quality consultant in Boston, Massachusetts, suggests, leadership is creating. It deals in tomorrow, but management is doing and deals in today. My definition of leadership reinforces this view. I define leadership as follows. Leadership is the ability to help individuals and organizations surpass themselves. Every organization expects their leaders to grow the enterprise, to improve the quality of life for its employees and customers and shareholders. Thus, it's a leader's job, first and foremost, to perform. An effective leader must be able to lead by inspiring his people to take action. How does a leader lead? Let me share with you the 5 most important characteristics of leadership. I believe these 5 characteristics are the backbone of leadership in action. I underscore the word most important because a leader, as you know, must possess many talents and abilities and be able to use them effectively. This is what ultimately separates the effective leader from the ineffective leader. The 5 most important characteristics of a leader are: number 1, create a clear vision. Number 2, stay focused on your priorities. Number 3, be an effective communicator. Number 4, growth. Number 5, love your people. Let's examine each of them in order of their importance. The most important characteristic of an effective leader is the ability to create a clear vision. A clear vision consists of three things. Number one, who are we? Number two, where are we going? And number three, how will we get there? Every great leader from Abraham Lincoln, probably the greatest president of the United States, to Lee Iacocca, the former chairman of Chrysler Corporation, has the capacity to create a clear vision that inspires ordinary people to achieve extraordinary things. It has been written of Cicero, the great Roman emperor, that when he spoke, the people of Rome stood and cheered. But when Demosthenes spoke, armies marched into battle. An effective leader must be able to do more than stir the emotions of people with his words. He must be able to articulate a clear direction that inspires people to take action and succeed. He must give them a plan as well as hope. This is why businesses and governments throughout Mexico and Latin America have formed strategic alliances to address such national issues as chocolate, finance, electrical power, and the development of natural resources. Leaders understand that in today's global marketplace, a unified direction, a clear vision, will bring success much quicker. Now, former adversaries have joined together as partners to solve problems and advance their economies throughout Mexico and Latin America. I believe there is also a lesson here for small and family-run businesses. You must appreciate that you are no longer competing with the shop across the street or the other side of town. Today, if you're doing business in Mexico City, your real competition may be in Sao Paulo, Quito, or Costa Rica. Forming strategic alliances is a must for your survival and growth. And this is also an important part of leadership. An effective leader must be capable of getting people to support his vision and implement his plan. To do this, the effective leader must be able to tell people how his vision will benefit them personally. Also, they will want to know how it will affect them, for better or for worse. As part of my consulting work with companies and leaders, many executives have asked me two all-important questions. One, how can I measure the effectiveness of my vision? And secondly, how will I know if my people truly support my vision? The ultimate measurement to test the effectiveness of your vision is customer satisfaction. No matter how well you think you are performing to your own internal measurements, the one measurement that really counts is what the customer thinks of your performance. Your customers might be the end user of your products or services, but in the case of a leader, it is his internal customers, that is, his direct report managers and stockholders, who will determine the success and worth of his vision. The effectiveness of a leader's vision also is rooted in his values. Joseph Jaworski suggests that 99% of leadership is about values. The most successful leaders understand that what motivates people is something greater than materialism and egotistical needs. Values are the keys that help us unlock the answers to questions about our higher meaning and purpose in life. Today, there is a global awakening to transform ourselves into more fully developed human beings. People of all cultures want to expand their hearts and their minds and their souls. And they look to leaders to help them achieve this result. And because our work is one important way in which mankind finds fulfillment, people yearn to work for companies that espouse a philosophy which is consistent with their own beliefs and values. According to the World Business Academy in Burlingame, California, there is a growing emphasis among business and government leaders to focus on such values as integrity, social equity, protecting our natural environment, enabling human creativity, ethical behavior, and respect for all living things. And so, a leader, first and foremost, must create a vision that inspires people to a higher level of fulfillment and achievement. Without a vision to pursue, people and enterprise are adrift without direction. An example of how one man's vision was the seed for the most successful franchise in the world was the late Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's restaurants. Kroc had a very simple but prolific vision. It was this: we achieve profit and growth through quality, service, value, and cleanliness with every customer contact. Certainly, Ray Kroc's vision embraced values everybody could believe in and support, and his hamburger sales and the number of franchisees he attracted attest to that fact. To measure the effectiveness of your vision, ask your employees to tell you candidly and honestly, will they support your vision? If yes, why? And if not, why won't they support it? If your research reveals a low level of support for your vision, re-examine it in the context of the values and beliefs it supports. The key is to create a vision which your people believe in and will actively champion. As you can see in the diagram on your screen entitled Leadership in Action, a clear vision is the key to your company's long-term success. In step 1, the leader creates his vision. Step 2 requires the leader to sell his vision to management, who in turn must sell the vision to their employees and customers. If management rejects the vision, or the employees reject the vision, or the vision is poorly implemented due to a lack of training, it will not succeed. However, if the vision takes root, sales will increase, profits will increase, and more customers will be attracted to your enterprise. This model is one we've used at the Customer Relations Institute to demonstrate the importance of having a clear vision. The second characteristic of an effective leader is to stay focused on your priorities. If I may borrow an old sailor's expression, stay the course and avoid the rocks. Here are 3 questions leaders continually ask themselves, and in so doing, they stay the course. Number 1, what is your business? 2, who are your customers? And 3, what must you change in your enterprise to remain profitable? My colleague, Philip Lee, has a wonderful expression. He says, when the arrow misses the target, don't blame the target or the arrow. An effective leader always keeps his target in sight. The effective leader knows where the bullseye is at all times. The effective leader is focused. He does not major in minors. He does not get pulled away from his primary goals and objectives. He knows how to avoid hitting the rocks because he carefully charts his course before he sets sail. In the mind of a leader, staying focused is about achieving results. A strong leader does not tolerate mediocrity in his organization. He constantly challenges his people to raise their performance standards by improving the company's products and services, finding innovative ways to solve customer problems, and removing antiquated policies and procedures that inhibit his employees from exceeding customer expectations. This is why accountability is essential to every leader in business and government. Goal setting and measuring results are the two most important tools of an effective leader. These tools are part of how an effective leader thinks, acts, and plans for success. Leaders understand that people must be accountable for their decisions and the execution of their plans. An effective leader isn't consumed with bottom-line details. The effective leader deals with the top line. In the words of two respected authors who have written extensively on the subject of leadership, Peter Drucker and Warren Bennis, management is about doing things right, and leadership is about doing the right things. As Dr. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, suggests, managers care about efficiency and climbing the ladder of success. Leaders want to know whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. A successful leader creates a vision, designs his plan of action, and then implements the plan. It is during this process that an undisciplined leader will lose focus and steer off course. He will be distracted by other issues. And while many of these other issues might appear to be urgent, they are secondary in their importance and will only distract the leader and delay results, and ultimately prevent progress. But when you examine where managers focus most of their time, you can see why we need more leaders and fewer managers. The 4 dominant management issues are: number 1, tradition; number 2, rules and procedures; 3, processes and systems; and 4, power struggles. Examine the graphic now on your screen, and in your participant manuals, you can see the challenge a leader must face every day when it comes to staying focused and managing his priorities. All decisions and priorities can be divided into one of the following quadrants. 1, urgent and important. 2, urgent but not important. 3, important but not urgent. And 4, not important and not urgent. Ideally, we want to spend most of our time in the quadrant that is marked important but not urgent, because this allows us to control our time and not be pressured into achieving less than satisfactory results. The third trait of a successful leader is to be an effective communicator. When I use the term effective communicator, I am referring to the impact of your message and how effective leaders add substance and credibility to their message. How does a leader stand behind his words and promises? When I use the phrase words and promises, I am talking about living what we say and doing what we ask of others. In other words, how do we communicate with integrity? The key is in the message the leader communicates to his people. What is the message a leader should communicate to his people? First, a leader is responsible for the flow of data and information throughout the organization. Without data and information, there is no positive message from the leader. Organizations can only grow and flourish if they encourage open communication among people and allow free access to information. Information converts to knowledge, and knowledge is the source of all wisdom. Thus, open communication and the access to information is the key to wisdom. An effective leader knows this to be true, and he encourages the sharing of information and data among all his people. So one message that every leader should send his people is share information openly and frequently. Another test of a successful leader is his ability to tolerate many viewpoints. Nobody enjoys a critic. However, effective leaders understand that their decisions and actions become stronger when they allow the critics to analyze and scrutinize their decisions. In the end, effective leaders know that the best way to convert their critics is by achieving success. This point is very important to those of us who work in large companies and government agencies, where a different viewpoint is considered insubordinate. We must appreciate knowing what others think without judging them or condemning their ideas. Tolerance for the viewpoint or opinion of others is a cornerstone for a company or leader to build their success. Finally, effective leaders honor their words and promises. There is no substitute for living what we say and doing what we ask of others. Leaders must be able to walk their talk. Leaders know their word is their bond, and they must keep it, whatever the price. The fourth characteristic of an effective leader is growth. Every great leader understands that lifelong learning is part of the job. There's an old saying among golfers, school is never out for the pro. Ray Kroc of McDonald's restaurants enjoyed comparing his managers to bananas. He would tell them, people are like bananas. You are either green and ripening or yellow and rotting. Of course, Ray Kroc wanted his people to be green and ripening. What Mr. Kroc understood so well is that leaders must know how to manage themselves before they can lead others. I've said before in defining leadership that it is an ability, and like any ability, it must be developed in order to be effective. This is why leaders must grow in three aspects of their lives. They must grow professionally, personally, and spiritually.